Gabrielle, I'll take it. Testimony just wrapping on this day of the murder trial involving and surrounding Dr. Gerald Klein. Investigators say he overprescribed narcotics and antidepressants to a 24-year-old man as part of a pill mill scheme. News Channel 5's Brian Nitton just stepped out of court for us. He's live in downtown West Palm Beach with our update. Brian.
Michael, pills for cash. That is what prosecutors say this is all about. Dr. Gerald Klein, he is 81 years old, now on trial for murder. He's worked at a West Palm Beach pill mill that was actually shut down by the DEA in his murder trial today. Dr. Klein's murder trial just getting started. He's accused of murdering 24-year-old Joey Bartolucci. Investigators say Dr. Klein prescribed Bartolucci too much pain medicine while he worked at the infamous East Coast Pain Clinic. They say Dr. Klein was paid $4,200 a week back in 2009 to pump out meds for this illegal pain pill operation.
You had $150, you got to see the doctor. He'll give you what you want.
Make no mistake about it, this case is a tale of two tragedies. Number one is the tragedy of the self-inflicted overdose death of Joseph Bartolucci. And number two is the arrest and prosecution of Dr. Klein for that.
Now, the owner of the pill mill, Jeff George, got a plea deal because he agreed to testify in this trial against Dr. Klein. Dr. Klein's attorney, of course, saying that the doctor was just trying to help people all along, that this was not about the money, and that it was just an overdose, and that it did not have anything to do with Dr. Klein. The trial is expected to last 2 weeks. Live at the courthouse, Brian Enton, WPTV News Channel 5.
Gabrielle, I'll take it. Testimony just wrapping on this day of the murder trial involving. New at 6, we are hearing from the man who found his best friend dead after prosecutors say a doctor overprescribed pain medicine. 81-year-old Dr. Gerald Klein is on trial for murder as part of what prosecutors describe as a $40 million pain mill scheme. News Channel. New at 6, we are hearing from the man who found his best friend dead after prosecutors say a doctor overprescribed pain medicine. 81-year-old Dr. Gerald Klein is on trial for murder as part of what prosecutors describe as a $40 million pain mill scheme. News Channel 5's Brian Enton is live outside the Palm Beach County Courthouse where testimony wrapped up for the day. Brian?
Michael, prosecutors say this 81-year-old doctor was paid $4,200 a week to write the pain prescriptions for cash. And they say that he belongs in jail. He's now charged with first-degree murder. After a distinguished career as a pediatric surgeon in New Jersey, now 81-year-old Dr. Gerald Klein is on trial for murder. Prosecutors say he got caught up in one of the worst pill mills in South Florida, overprescribing pain meds to 24-year-old Joey Bartolucci before he overdosed.
Not here by any insurance, not Aetna, not Blue Cross, not Blue Shield, no. Cash. You got cash to see the doctor.
The feds called it a $40 million drug factory. The DEA shutting down the infamous East Coast Pain Clinic 1 year after Bartolucci's best friend found him dead.
Ran around the corner of the bed, threw the sheets off him, and felt for a pulse. There's nothing there, and then proceeded to call 911.
The feds say the big dog behind it all, pill mill owner Jeff George, agreed to testify against Dr. Klein in exchange for a lesser sentence. Dr. Klein's lawyer says that is exactly why the jurors should not trust that testimony. He says the doctor was only trying to help people like Bartolucci.
He told Dr. Klein he was in great pain and needed the medication. And he had records, an MRI and a records from a neurologist to back up his claim that he was in pain.
So right now, Dr. Klein is out of jail on a $360,000 bond. His trial is expected to last 2 weeks here. Live at the courthouse, Brian Enton, WPTV News Channel 5.
West Palm Beach doctor on trial for first-degree murder. Prosecutors say he worked at a pill mill prescribing a toxic combination of drugs that ended up killing a 24-year-old. The Now's Brian Enton has just stepped outside of the courtroom. He's live in downtown West Palm Beach with the very latest on this case. Brian?
Shannon, you know, with all of these pill mill cases that we've seen over the years, it is very, very rare for a doctor to face a first-degree murder charge. Prosecutors say Dr. Gerald Klein was part of a huge pill mill conspiracy, a $40 million business. They say the 81-year-old basically was writing prescriptions in exchange for big cash. He was part of the infamous East Coast Pain Clinic. Investigators say. His attorney says he was just trying to help people dealing with pain from accident and injuries, but prosecutors say he overprescribed 24-year-old Joey Bartolucci narcotics and antidepressants back in 2009. The idea was to move them in and move them out of the office. Prosecutors say it was a pill mill factory that the DEA shut down a year after Bartolucci's death.
You had $150. You got to see the doctor. He'll give you what you want.
He wasn't a police officer, he was a doctor. And he was treating people that said they needed treatment. He was treating people that said they were in pain.
The owner of the pill mill, you right remember, Shannon, his name is Jeff George. He got a plea deal because he agreed to testify in this trial against Dr. Klein. Obviously, the defense for Dr. Klein telling the jury, how is that fair? How can you actually trust his testimony? The trial is expected to last about 2 weeks at the courthouse right here. Live downtown, I'm Brian Enton for the Now South Florida.